All right, a very good morning and welcome to our Legal Tuesday. This is a day when we deal with the legal matters here at MBCI TV. Karibu sana katika kipindi cha siku ya leo tuweze kufuatilia masuala ambayo tuko nayo kwako siku ya leo. Nikitumai pia umekuwa na wiki ambayo ni ya baraka. We were here last week and today we are continuing with the same topic on the cyber laws. Na wiki iliyopita tulizungumzia sheria ambazo zimewekwa na changamoto zilizo na watoto wetu katika mitandao. Tukiangalia sheria zingine, changamoto ambazo mitandao, na nikupitia kipindi chetu cha leo cha Legal Tuesday, na nikupatia nafasi pia uweze kutujibia swali hili: what kind of cyber crime have you ever experienced? Katika masuala ambayo unaingia mitandaoni, ushawahi patana na uhalifu wa aina gani? Katika mitandao kuna uhalifu mbalimbali, iwe ni simu, iwe ni kompyuta, iwe ni laptop, iwe ni nini. Na nataka uniambie ushawahi kutana na uhalifu wa aina gani katika mitandao. You can share with us kupitia nambari yetu ya SMS ambao ni 23814. 23814 is our good SMS number. 0721105105 is our WhatsApp number. What kind of cyber crime have you ever experienced? Iwe ni katika simu, iwe ni katika kompyuta, iwe ni katika laptop, anywhere. Na unasema kwamba hapa nilinaswa. So tuambie 23814 0721105105. But for now we have a clip that is talking about the same thing. Nataka uangalie hii mchezo wa kuigiza, and then when we come back we will be having more on this.
Habari yako?
Nzuri sana.
Nataka kusaidia aje?
Nataka kulipa fees.
Shule gani?
Chelewa high school.
High school. Kuna shida kidogo ya system. Naomba uniwie radhi tushughulikie kama dakika 10 hivi, alafu nitashughulikia.
Ni sawa, haina shida.
Pole sana.
Uko salama?
Niko salama.
Hata wewe umekuja kulipa fee?
Nimekuja kulipa fee, ndio nimepumzika. Naona line ikiwa kubwa sana.
Vijana wanataka kukupatia laini.
Vijana. Vijana wa siku hizi hawana hata heshima kwa wazee. Wananiacha tu. Lakini sina shida
Kidogo tu.
Madam, lakini nimekaa hapa for over an hour. Au usinite ma'am, nimekaa over 1 hour.
Sasa tutafanya. Uko na bahati sana nimekuwa hapa hivi, system zao za huku kwetu ni kama zimefail.
Ndio.
Utanipea tu jina la mwanafunzi.
Ndio.
Unjua nimeacha kazi kuja kupanga hapa line shwali. Tumekaa hapa sana. Dakika 5 itakuwa sawa. Dakika 5 na 1 hour mmeshindwa.
Ako stream gani?
Ako form 3.
Form 3.
Yeah.
Form 3 gani?
West.
West.
Good.
Admission number yake
Ni 2242.
2242.
Yeah.
Good. Tutamsaidia haraka. Sasa kenye utafanya ndio nienda nikafidi kwa mashini. Utanisaidia ID namba yako kwanza. ID namba
Ni
29. Good. Sasa fanya aje ndio tulipe, tutumie simu yako.
Simu.
Ndio mimi nienda ni transfer huko hivyo. Kwa sababu tukisema ni kuingia kwa ofisi italeta mambo mingi.
Acha nivae miwani nigeza.
Jaribu kuharakisha kidogo. Kuna clients wengi sana.
Sijui utanisaidia hata.
Nitakusaidia kwa M-Pesa. Sijui kwa nini hawa watu wanakaisha hivyo.
Watu.
Lakini system ndio ilikuwa na shida. Good. So ulikuwa umeambia this time wanalipa how much?
23,500.
23,500. Hiyo 500 ilikuwa activity fee.
Hata walikuwa wametuandikia.
Hata ilikuwa 30. Venye tuliangalia tukaconsider.
Okay.
Good. Unaweza nisaidia pin yako ya M-Pesa? Ni siri yako, lakini unaweza niamini niko tu huku.
Ni kwa nini? Pin.
Nakushughulikia mama. Nakushughulikia. Saa hii tu unatoka hapa kama umeshughulikiwa.
Okay.
Niambie.
Ni 23.
Good.
Usiambie watu hata kama ni
Siwezi waambia.
Tukagethio kiugaga.
Good. Imeenda. Sasa wacha ni feed kwa kompyuta. Ngoja tu hapo kidogo tu.
Okay.
Ni feed kwa kompyuta alafu nakuja.
Unakuja? Okay, sawa.
Message yako imefika mama?
Message. Wacha niangalie. Ninaona ni kama haijafika.
Haijafika?
Haijafika.
Sijali, ngoja tu kama dakika 5. Si unaona system venye leo zimefeli?
Okay.
Hata Safaricom probably think wako na shida pia wanatatizika kidogo.
Okay.
Lakini itaingia, usijali.
Itaingia.
Tushashughulikia kila kitu, mtoto atasoma.
Okay, sawa. Okay, sawa. Asante. Halo? Ticha? Habari? Unaendelea vizuri? Ni vizuri. Mimi ni mama Bedinego Murioki. Ako darasa la Form 3 West. Na nilikuwa nimeenda hapo kwa bank kulipa school fees. Zimefika huko shule? Hebu niangalilie tafadhali. Okay. Sawa. Umeangalia? Halafu? Ati? Ati? Aje? Na nimelipa tu saa hizi. Kwa sababu sijatoka kwa bank. Wacha tu basi niulize. Wacha tu niulize tafadhali. Mtanisaidia na hili kidogo nione keshia.
Ndio. Sasa nimalizie.
Sawa.
Nishamalizia.
Hai.
Uko poa?
Niko poa. Sijui kai.
Next.
Habari yako?
Nzuri sana mama. Saidiaje?
Mimi nimekuwa tu hapa na nimepea kijana juu nimeona laini ni kubwa, nikapea kijana mwingine hapo anilipie. Kijana mwingine na amelipa haraka sana, ameniambia system sijui iko na shida, sijui nini, na nilikuwa nimechoka nikaketi mahali hapo.
Kijana anaitwaje? Si mtu mwenye alikuwa hapa kwa ofisi yetu.
Na sasa alitoka huko ndani. Ni kijana anafanya.
Sisi hatufanyangi kazi hivyo. Hapa tu ndo tunafanyanga payment na kupea receipt ama una transact direct through here, lakini sidhani kuna mtu amekuja hapa.
Ati unaniambia aje gai? Unaniambia aje msichana? Na nimependa pesa tu saa hii. Unataka kuniambia hizo pesa sasa nikupotea zimepotea?
Mimi sijapokea pesa yako mama. Mimi venye ninaona ni kama umeibiwa.
Gai, sasa ni kuibiwa gai. Sasa nafanya nini na ametokea tu hapa?
Yes, there we go. Wakili, karibu sana.
Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you.
Very good to see you.
Thank you.
Very good morning to you.
Thank you.
Wiki imekuwa salama?
Wiki iko salama. We are pushing on.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, today we're talking about the cyber laws and kulingana vile tumeona the drama itself.
Yes.
It speaks volumes.
Yes.
Na one of the things ambao nimejiuliza, because I know you'll be telling us what is a cyber crime or cyber laws.
Yes.
Swali moja muhimu ambao tunauliza huyu mama ambaye amelipia pesa kwa bank.
Yes.
Mambo ya M-Pesa, mambo ya simu, kulipiana pesa kwa simu, kukoniwa, is it part of cyber crimes?
It is part of cybercrime, but if you look at it in the context of what has happened there, that is fraud. Somebody has committed a fraud and lied. Cyber systems, when we talk about cyber systems and crimes that relate to them, indicate systems that are terminated. They use computers, they use codes that are fed into those computers, those phones, and those machines. The space for cybercrime is generally between the time the codes are fed and the receiving party. Now, compromising that system is what is cybercrime. Compromising the computer system, the phone system, so that you divert the money, you steal the money. But what that young man has done is to deny the lady a chance to use the system of payment, the proper system of payment. He has transferred the money either to himself or to another number, pretending to do the transaction. It can be part of cybercrime in that a properly working system, that lady should have known right from the beginning kwamba hizi pesa lazima ziende siwekwe to an authorized officer. So that authorized officer is the one who should be properly identified, who keys in the information and gives evidence of payment, either in the form of a receipt or electronic message.
So in a nutshell, whatever this woman went through is a part of cyber.
Is part of cybercrime at a very basic level. Yes.
And I saw a scenario whereby some people, when you take a loan from a bank, you find that there's some people who can access, I don't know, the data or something of that loan. And if you are late for payment, there's some people who try calling you, telling you to pay this money via a certain pay bill, who are not maybe bank officers. They call themselves, I don't know, the auctioneers or something. How about that one?
That is, that can be, since the information has come from an electronic system, you can say it is a cybercrime. It's a crime of compromising the system, picking the information and using it for illegal activities. There are two levels there. Because one, that person is not authorized to have that information. Two, is using the information for an illegal purpose. So those are the two offenses that are disclosed there. At the cyber level, what you will be discussing is the security of the information. How has the institution secured the information that belongs to its customers and clients? That's a breach of confidentiality that has led to a criminal activity.
If I go to my colleague Mangicho, the issue of the phone fraud is very common in the country. Unakuta watu wengi wamekuwa wakiibiwa pesa kupitia mambo ya simu. How would you take that? How would you tell them? No, I think before Mangicho comes, you can give your response.
The phone system is a very simple system. Let's leave alone the simple, the most basic one, where you send money to your grandmother and the young grandson who is at home is told check the credit and he transfers the money to himself. Those are basic social things. What is expected in the phone systems, the phone system we have, is that determining the database at Airtel, at Safaricom, and you are end to end. You operate your phone, you send information, you send money, you receive money, you distribute the money, pay for goods, and all that. Now, what has happened is that because the system is new, M-Pesa was a new thing worldwide, people take advantage of the knowledge of the people and they call you and they tell you, we have seen there's a problem with the ID card you used to open this M-Pesa. Give us your ID. The next question will be, give us your PIN. Then in a few minutes, you find your money has disappeared from your wallet. So inabidi watu wazoee kwamba simu ni kipeti kama ile yenye umeweka kwa mfuko, yenye umeweka pesa. Yenye mama anawekanga ndani ya hapa juu, anaweka ndani kwa matiti hapa, na kama pini yako vile unaweka kipeti chako chenye kiko na shilingi 20,000.
Yeah.
You have 20,000 in your wallet. I'm sure you always know where it is. Hata ukiweka kwa gari kidogo ama kwa wardrobe kwenye umeweka, unakumbuka kwenye umeweka. Weka pin yako in the same level.
All right.
Kwamba hii ni kipeti na iko na pesa ndani. Yes.
And Wakili, just from that clip, Kagi, because I don't know how would it be treated now that maybe there is the argument that okay, of course it is fraud, but at what particular point would one really maybe say, or would one maybe think that this woman actually consented to what this particular gentleman asked her to do?
Okay, I think before he answers that question, I've been told we're supposed to go for a short break.
Okay.
Yeah, when you're coming, Wakil will be able to answer that question. And today we are asking you, what kind of a cyber crime have you ever experienced? Text us on 23814 or 0721 105 105. We'll be right back after this.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
What is going to help us here and in Kenya is the power
Apostle Subeyuri of Sinom Church is back.
and the fire of the Holy Spirit.
Every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. and repeats on Thursday, 9:30 p.m.
The Bible says in the book of Ezekiel that wherever this river went, everything lived.
Stay connected.
Even dead things came back to life.
Stay blessed.
Wherever we go, there should be life.
In the heart of Nairobi City, this February, a divine convergence will take place at Nyayo National Stadium. The churches of Kenya extend a heartfelt invitation to you as we welcome God's servant, Pastor Benny Hinn, renowned for signs, healing, and miracles. Join us at Nyayo National Stadium on the 24th and 25th of February 2024 from 3 p.m. daily. Witness the miraculous and be part of a spiritual encounter that will transform your life.
I want all of you in Kenya to be there at the crusade.
This powerful meeting has been made possible by the generous support of the churches of Kenya. For more information, call at 0796 92 8052. See you there.
Welcome to Africa International University, where education meets transformation. At AIU, we don't just educate, we inspire and innovate, shaping Christ-centered leaders who will transform Africa and the world. Our academic programs cater to every ambition: certificates, diplomas, bachelor's, postgraduate, master's, and PhDs. Join our international community and embark on an exciting academic journey that goes beyond borders. We lead, we innovate, we inspire, because at AIU, we are more than a university. We are a family with a common goal of transforming the world. The time is now. Enroll in AIU and be a part of a university in the heart of Africa, with Africa on its heart. Africa International University, where dreams take flight and leaders are born.
Life is brimming with moments worth celebrating. The dreams we chase, the connections we cherish, the laughter that fills our hearts. These are the true treasures. But sometimes, the path to those moments can feel clouded by financial worries. What if you could invest in a future where chasing your dreams isn't just a desire, but a reality? With N-Wealth Capital, small steps lead to big possibilities. With nWealth Money Market Fund, you can secure your financial future for a better tomorrow. Meticulously crafted for growth, carefully managed for safety of your investments and growth, you can invest as little as 1,000 Kenyan shillings. Whether you yearn for the freedom to travel, the joy of owning a home, or the security of a comfortable retirement, we enable your dreams to reality. Sign up today through www.nwealth.co.ke/capital or call 0700 617 443 and secure a lifetime of financial well-being and dignity through nWealth. nWealth Capital Unit Trust Scheme is approved by CMA, which does not take responsibility for the financial soundness of the scheme. Prices of shares and income may fluctuate and the right to redeem shares may be suspended. nWealth Capital Limited is a subsidiary entity of nWealth Financial Services Limited with regulatory approvals to provide pensions, investments, and insurance services.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Yeah, of course, you're welcome back to the Legal Tuesday, and we are so glad that you're having us today. This is just an escalation of what we started last week or last Tuesday for that particular case, where we've been looking at cyber laws. Of course, last Tuesday we focused a lot on cyber securities or cyber laws in relation to children. Of course, last Tuesday we were looking, or we were actually marking the Safer Internet Day, which was geared towards ensuring that our children are safe as far as the internet and the cyber matters are concerned. But today we want to now look even at the general, because not only children are affected, but even adults have found themselves on the wrong side as far as cyber laws are concerned. And of course, with us is also Wakili Ayuka Ondieki, helping us to get into the details of this conversation. And just before the break, Wakili, that particular aspect and how difficult it can be to actually maybe a lady like that one who fell victim for that particular fraud to actually get justice, or maybe to actually even maybe get up from that particular situation because of maybe most people thinking that she gave in to this.
In mobile money systems, all the mobile money systems, your lock is your PIN. The moment that lady gave the gentleman who was posing as a bank worker, staff of the bank where she was seated, that moment she gave the PIN, the law assumes that she has given consent for, she has used her PIN. That's what the law assumes. Yes. So it's not possible to say that she has not given the consent. The loss is total. Because the mobile company has told her, don't give your PIN to any stranger, even to our members of staff. Even when you go to Safaricom to transact, when they are trying to create something in your phone, they give you back the phone so that you put the PIN. You put your own PIN yourself. But when you give a stranger, it is difficult to hold the service provider responsible for that. Sure. Of course, there is the pack end where they say they can trace the money, you can recover your money, the money can be traced and all manner of things. But then they cannot be liable for your action.
This particular stage, the law expects her to have known.
Yes, to have known. They can only trace that man and charge him with stealing.
Before Maluki goes to the next question, regarding the same, a situation where we are dealing with an elder who doesn't know especially how to operate a phone, what kind of a consent, how is her consent secured? because they are the ones who are very vulnerable.
Yeah, and sometimes they bring people.
Yes.
They bring people that they believe they trust so that they can help them in this undertaking.
Now you're straight into sociology. That is society now. But it's assumed that if you are able to operate a phone, you are able to take simple instructions and do things in the manner that safeguards your money in the phone wallet. We cannot say that you are too old to operate the M-Pesa when you are actually the one who opened it and you got a code, a PIN to be using in transacting.
Okay.
Yes. But then what may happen is that the service provider, like a bank, like Safaricom or Airtel, they can have a system where the elder are picked out from the crowd and told, what were you doing? Line up here, do this. They are instructed on what to do on their phone, on their own, securely, without anybody spying into their PIN and that kind of a thing.
Yes. But Wakili, we've had situations, Kage, I know you're also aware of these, that we've had situations where by people, Kenyans have complained that they don't know how maybe some of these fraudsters actually got to know their PIN numbers. And in a case like this one, is there a way out for someone who has fell victim?
Yes, that one there will be definitely a remedy. What has happened is that there's a breach in data security in the company that is using the data, like somebody has hacked into Safaricom, which is itself a crime, and picked out data about you and gotten into the system and stolen your money.
Yeah.
That one is actionable, and the service provider is responsible. They will ordinarily they will be responsible and refund the money.
Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe regarding the same about the data security.
Yes.
Kwa mfano mtu ambaye mimi niko na kadi yangu ya simu na kila kitu kiko pale na kuna mtu ambaye ameingilia system yangu ya simu bila mimi kujua vile maagizo ambavyo nauliza.
Yes.
Mimi kama customer inaweza nikashtaki kampuni ya mawasiliano kwa sababu ya labda wao ndio wamepeana kimakosa habari zangu.
That happens in the data system of the mobile company. You can sue them, you can recover against them. Where you cannot recover is where your phone itself is used and where you give information yourself. Kwamba pini yangu ni 1, 2, 3, 4. Ile pesa iko ndani ya simu yangu ni 20,000 na nilikuwa nataka kutumia huyu, so this person uses it to send to the wrong number. That you cannot recover. But where somebody hacks the mobile system of your service provider and gets data and removes money from your wallet, you have a right to be compensated, and they will ordinarily compensate. Yes. What they don't do is that to admit very, very quickly, because they want everybody to believe that mambo iko sawa. Yes.
So at this particular point, Wakili, can you say that one of the most common types of cybercrime, especially maybe affecting now even adults, not necessarily children, is whereby the aspect of money is concerned?
Money is the most reported one, and is the one that we are able to discuss openly.
Sure.
Cybercrime involving sexual offences, child pornography and what have you, is much more widespread. But then it's not something that is discussed at family, at social gatherings. It is not something that you tell a friend that, somebody sent me a message of a video of a naked child. That is a child pornography, which is a crime, but then people don't discuss it as often. But out there, the money, the stealing from wallet in mobile money phones and that kind of a thing is far more discussed because it affects us, and it is something that you can say this is what happened.
All right.
Yes.
Kabla kuendelea zaidi nataka tuangalie kule mashinani vile ambavyo wananchi wanasema kuhusiana na mambo ya cybercrime. Tukirudi tutakuwa Angalia tu vile ambavyo wamesema. Kwa hivyo kwa wakati huu, mpenzi mtazamaji, tunataka tuende kule mashinani tusikie wananchi wanasema vipi kuhusu mambo ya uhalifu katika mitandaoni.
So habari
nzuri.
Kwa majina tena?
Cyrus Kamau.
Cyrus Kamau. Tunapata kuuliza swali lingine, ni changamoto zipi za usalama wa kimitandao wa Kenya wengi hukumbana nazo?
Ya kwanza ni hacking. Ya pili, unapata ukiwa kwa social media hauko safe. Unapata jina lako limetumika kwingine na wewe uko hapa na mwingine anakulia hiyo jina. Kwa hivyo hiyo kitu kwanza inafaa iangaliwe kabisa. Hacking, ukifanywa hacking unapata hata pesa ulikuwa na fraud au na fraud ishaenda. Na hiyo ni kitu inafaa kuwa imeangaliwa sana. Kwa hivyo security hapo kwa hiyo kitu inafaa iangaliwe.
I have been thieved, I'm saying, using that cybercrime. Somebody pretended to be someone else, and they made me send money, and I never got it back. So afterwards, that's when I realized they are those thieves. They are thieves. Yeah.
May affect lots of young people first thing. Alafu, I think if imekuhapenia ama imeweza kuhapenia, the only thing unaweza fanya maybe ni not usikue like usichukulie like nini, like kujua like yo mseme maybe anakunene anako itangaze the one who is causing it is it affect like in such a way maybe amekosa kitu ya kufanya like if it affect, what I'm saying is to affect your mental issues or anything.
Mtu anaweza fanya kitu tena ujikute tu umetuhusiwa. Sasa mimi ile kitu nasema ni hii. Tuseme pengine mtu ni kiongozi judio, wakati mwingine tunakutanga tumewatusi. Kwa sababu mtu alipewa kazi akaenda kulala kwa bunge ama tuseme ni MCA, ukienda kudemand ile kitu unahitaji kutoka kwake anasema unamtusi. Lakini kama mtu hataki kutusiwa na yeye afanyie watu kazi. Hiyo ndio naweza sema.
Sometimes it's fun and sometimes it hurts the personality of somebody, because unaweza pata mtu ame bereaved, the person is bereaved but the other people are still just speaking nonsense about it, you know, saying different things about it. So I can say it's fun at times when somebody is kuna mtu anaingiliwa vizuri, like watu si wana hizo comment section nini hapo zinakuanga fun sana. Then ile time mtu sasa anaambiwa vitu zingine mbaya na kuanga like previously on Twitter imekuwa common sana. Yeah, so can say it hurts and sometimes it is also fun.
All right, there we go. Na that's how public is saying about this. Na sijui wakili ni kitu gani ambacho you can pick from there.
I'm happy to see that interaction. One, because that group of 4 or 5 people have described about 5 classes of cyber crimes. It's like the knowledge that we think people don't have, they already have it. They have discussed identity theft, somebody stealing your identity and they're using it electronically.
This identity theft, it's very, very rampant.
Yes. Yeah. Using your photograph, using data that you place in the internet, pretending to be you and asking for people to do favors, all doing things that are illegal, is identity theft. It is so serious in other countries that in America, because somebody can steal your identity and they use computers to make you speak what you have not spoken. They take the speech you are making in this studio and they put different words in the speech and you are heard to be saying something else. They have now now equated it to kidnapping. The sentence is the same as kidnapping the physical person and keeping him against his own will. So it is that serious.
And I was just wondering, Kagi, because I don't know, it has taken very long, even maybe for those who maybe are the operators of these maybe cyber areas, the social media sites. Yes. The stringent measures that are supposed to be there to ensure that maybe even when one is opening an account, they really don't have maybe to hide or to conceal their identities.
Crime is a society thing. As you develop, like you see what has happened, what has changed in the world from the 1980s to the 90s coming to the 20s is that knowledge is now stored electronically.
Yes.
Business is done electronically. So those people who are stealing, the pickpockets you had next to the post office, don't have to wait for you at the post office to pick your pocket, because there's nothing in your pocket. Something is in your phone. So they will be either stealing the phone itself or using their computer knowledge to steal electronically from your phone. Wow. So it is not something that you can say that the service providers and the government should completely stop. You cannot deal with crime with finality. Look at a simple crime like stock theft. Wizi wa mbuzi na ng'ombe. It was made a very stringent crime by the colonial government because the Africans who were breaking the fences, stealing the Frisians and the good breeds of sheep. So stealing, you could get 3 years. Stealing anything else. Stock theft, minimum was 7 years. But it does not stop. Stealing one goat, you go in for 7 years. Stealing 1 million, you can get 3 years in prison. So what the law was meant was to discourage people from stealing stock from the colonial farmer, but it has not stopped. It is still going on up to now. So as the electronic space, as computer knowledge increases, as we continue using electronic means of, and we are now going to artificial intelligence, the people who created these crimes are in that space.
And actually this evolving of these phenomenons, in this particular case, some of these crimes, as they evolve, do they pose some major challenge as far as how to deal with them legally is concerned?
It's a big challenge because Kenya only in 2018 created a Cybercrime Act. Very little studies have been done about the cybercrime, but the reports indicate that 860 million cyber offenses are committed in Kenya every year. 860 million. Including attempts at hacking your phone, attempts to steal, that like Safaricom says, 400 million times last year, people tried to do this, that, and that. Airtel says 100 million times this happened. Citizens report, I went here, my money was stolen this way and that way. So I read somewhere that about 860 million crimes had been reported by October of 2023. So it's a serious situation. It's only that it has not been discussed in public. It has not been. It does not come out in the public as a very serious problem. Now, the Cyber Act of 2018 is in place. The reporting system is a problem because once you are a victim, you go to the DCI. The DCI has 1 or 2 computer people there who will take the information, perhaps escalate it to Nairobi, and make sure that you are assisted and the people who stole your money electronically or did the crime electronically through the cyber system are arrested.
Yeah, this reminds me of a scenario I experienced of hacking. You know, you're going to talk about the different types of cyber crimes, whereby my social media was hacked.
Yes.
By somebody, and I only knew in the morning that my account is gone.
Yes.
But I tried to think of how can I report this thing to the relevant authority. And I thought of going online, but it was not working. Even the FB itself. You know, when I went to check the FB, they have like 10 accounts of areas where we can be able to report the hacking, but you don't know which one is authentic. There are like 10 or 15 of them. And you see, even though we are opening many platforms for social media, there has not been a serious and deliberate way of helping the customers to be able to report these cases, right?
You're right. Very few people in the country know that companies like TikTok are actual companies. WhatsApp and all those groups are companies that have offices and addresses to which you can report. The first reporting point when you get a problem with your account has been stolen is the service provider, if you get their address. There is the default, of course, of going to the DCI. You go to the DCI, they have cybercrime people there. They will be able to identify the nature of the crime and how to process out the crime and how to assist you regain your account. That is a mixture of identity stealing, identity theft, and fraud. Because somebody has captured your identity and is using it.
Maybe as we continue, what are the other kinds of cyber crimes that we experience in our country?
The cyberspace has become a very, very huge space. It is the space from which we buy shirts, we buy cars, we do all manner of businesses. So if we go back to the people who are discussing this issue at Nyahururu and the other place, they have already identified for us identity theft. We have already spoken about hacking. There's the PESC fraud that we started with. Somebody there said that somebody takes your identity and starts pulling you online. So there is cyber bullying, especially for young people. This is a very, very serious matter. Your daughter's photograph can be taken from the internet and made into many things and posted back to her. So she will not tell you that some people are posting me with somebody else's body that is naked or anything like that. She will try to solve it herself. By the time you get to realize what's happening, you now have a mental breakdown case. Somebody there also identified harassing of an individual, like you ask for a service, what you are told back is harassment. There is a cybercrime that happens to companies, like malicious software that can be sent to a company, like somebody sends a malicious computer code that disrupts the activities of, say, Kenya Commercial Bank for the whole day, or confuses the system, and you have a problem running the company. There was a time when this withdrawal of money by ATM in Kenya was new, and some people realized that between 6 and 7:30 the computers are switched off to load the money, so there were no balances available. So quite a number of people were lining up in banks, and you go in, you withdraw the maximum allowed. If it is 20,000, you go when there's no 20,000 in your account. So banks had to sue customers later. That was, I think, that was the beginning of that kind of a crime, and it went on for quite some time. And even right now, there's no system that is foolproof. So people can still do that. So we have talked about fraud, fire attacks. Then there's a very common one, distributed denial of service. Somebody calls you and tells you, hii namba yako, nimeona hii account yako imefunguliwa vibaya. Give us your full account so that we do this, that, and that. I'm calling you from Cooperative Bank. That is a crime that has emerged, and it is done many times. It is used to steal money from accounts. Then, of course, there is spyware. Like we put a spy program in this studio, so that we know everything that gets done, the money transactions, and that kind of a thing. Those are the ones that affect big companies. The ones that concern your listeners and the common person are usually around the mobile phone, the cyberspace, that is Facebook, WhatsApp, TikTok, and that kind of a thing.
But then, Wakili, talking about viral attacks, especially the insults that sometimes we see in the social media, unprintable words, people calling these insults, especially those who are in maybe leadership positions, celebrities, influencers. Sometimes they really fall victim of some of the... Are these really described as cybercrime?
Yes, because they are punishable as misuse of electronic devices. The charge sheet that comes to court sometimes reads actually that using a mobile phone, you send a message to this person saying this and that, knowing that it is untrue. So it's a crime that is common, really. We see it in court all the time. People send abuses to each other, and the police retrieve the information from Safaricom or Airtel, and they come and charge you with that. Can get charged with that. Yes.
There is another scenario which I think might be common, although it is not well verified or known, whereby some insiders in an organization like a bank can try to do something very fishy, maybe to use another person away from the organization to try to source some money from you, or maybe threaten you, like even all service providers, the mobile service provided. Unakuta kuna watu ambao wanakupigia simu, lakini ukikaa unafikiria hawa watu walipata information hii yote wapi? Kuna uwezekano mkubwa walipata information kutoka kwa kampuni, iwe ni banki, iwe ni kampuni ya simu, iwe ni kwa land, mambo kama hayo. Sijui sheria inaweza tusaidiaje kuweza kuona kwamba our data in those organizations is secure.
Data security is a whole section of the law. There is every company that uses data and uses electronic means to do business are signed into the Communications Authority. There are regulations that regard the use of data and the security of the data. Before they were allowed to start giving you the service they're giving you, they must have demonstrated to the Communication Authority that this is the way we'll do it, this is the way we'll terminate, this is the way we'll store the data, this is the way we will prevent people from getting this information without authority. And these are the authorized persons. They have levels of authorization. At the branch level, only the branch manager can give this. At the headquarters, only this, that, and that can access this information. Once that structure is approved by the Communication Authority, it is the duty of the service provider to maintain it and ensure that the data is safe. Yes.
Wow, that is amazing. That is amazing. And of course, Wakili, even as we talk about that particular aspect, because we've seen a lot of Kenyans who have complained of actually being victims as far as cybercrime is concerned. Now, for someone maybe who has fallen victim, what kind of evidence do they need to produce?
Cybercrime evidence is difficult to put together because the people who are able to use electronic and computer means to steal also have the means to delete the information. But mostly the information will be the data that you keep. I deposited 20,000 in the account. I have not used my PIN 1, 2, 3, 4 to withdraw the money. The money is now gone from the account. So what the evidence will always remain in the sphere of the data in the storage system. Yes.
And of course, in this generation, or actually at this age, where there is also now the ability and the possibility of actually maybe even manufacturing some of this content using some of these softwares, it can even make the process become very complex.
Other than the software, there was a very common thing that used to happen with ATMs that people never used to realize, especially ATMs that transact huge amounts or even small amounts of money frequently. You go to the bank and you are told your limit is 40,000 per day. The person creating that limit is using a laptop, is creating it in a computer in the bank there. There were times, there are occasions we were met where the allowed amount is actually 100,000. So what this person is doing is monitoring your withdrawals. He sees if you are withdrawn with code number 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20,000, 40,000, which is your limit. They withdraw the remaining 60,000. When we go looking for evidence on how your money disappeared, we'll first, of course, start with the account. We realize you withdrew actually 40,000. Then a minute later, you withdrew 60,000. The codes are different because this one has now become 11 and not 10. We go to the camera at the lobby of the ATM. We find it is you actually. We can see you doing this. This person has not come there. He doesn't have a photograph in the. There's no photograph at the lobby. I have met that kind of a situation in court, and actually, the bank and the prosecution were not able to prove that how the money was stolen, that this man did not withdraw his money. So it is important sometimes to confirm with management that, oh, you say it, my limit is 10,000 per day. Yeah, make sure that it is.
All right.
It is left there.
Yeah, thank you. At this juncture, I think we can hand over to Mangicho to take us to the legal terminology before I come in with the inside law.
Yes, of course, we have our legal terminology for today. As you know, we always bring you that particular segment where we want to educate ourselves, make ourselves informed as far as legal terminologies are concerned. And this is the term that we have today, circumstantial evidence. This is a term that is we are going to look at, we are going to focus on in this particular segment for the legal terminology. It's called circumstantial evidence, and it means this is evidence which, without going directly to prove the existence of a fact, gives rise to a logical inference that such fact exists. When you talk about circumstantial evidence, it means evidence which, without going directly to prove the existence of a fact, gives rise to a logical inference that such fact exists. That is what we call, or that is what we mean when you talk about circumstantial evidence. And because we have Wakili in the house, he can help us get into can break it down more for us, Wakili. Circumstantial evidence, not necessarily fact.
The classes of evidence that are used to prove a fact, especially in criminal law, are classified into various clusters. There is direct evidence of the act, of what happened and how it happened. That is direct evidence. There are situations where that direct evidence is not available.
Okay.
But then there's circumstantial evidence, evidence that when taken in totality with the facts, proves that this person was actually at the scene and knew the person that we are talking about and is related to the crime that is being tried. So there are those circumstances, those other facts surrounding the crime that connect the person to the crime.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
that is circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence.
Yes. Evidence is a very, very long subject.
And the courts can actually rely on these.
Yeah, the courts can rely on circumstantial evidence. Yes.
For example, if maybe a cloth that somebody says you are putting on is found.
Yes.
In the place of the scene.
Yes, but the court usually uses the evidence with a warning that this is only circumstantial evidence, but then this evidence has no other explanation. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Very good. Thank you so much. And that is what we mean when we talk about circumstantial evidence. I think at this particular point, Kagi, you can take us to the inside law.
Yes. Right. And there we go. In the inside law today, we're talking about the cyber crime, but today I have a very interesting topic on the biggest cyber attacks in history. I'm going to mention some of the biggest cyber attacks in history, but before we go there, we can say that when data breaches happen, it can have a far-reaching impact. It goes beyond the target company, affecting customers, suppliers and more. Wakati ambapo umeingiliwa katika mitandao yako, mpenzi mtazamaji, inakuletea hasara kubwa sana, iwe ni katika kampuni, iwe ni katika hata katika nyumbani au kazi yako na mambo kama hayo. Kwa hivyo tutakuwa tukiangalia some of the biggest cyber attacks in the history in this world. The first one is called the Melissa virus. One of the earliest and biggest cyber threats came from the Melissa virus in 1999 by a programmer called David Lee Smith. He sent users a file to open via Microsoft Word, which held a virus. Once opened, the virus activated, causing severe damage to hundreds of companies, including Microsoft. Hapa ni mahali ambapo kuna virus iliyowekwa katika mitandao, ikatumiwa watu, wakati ambapo unaifungua inakuletea shida, ikaanza kuleta vidudu katika files za kampuni. The second one is called the NASA cyber attack. This one, it happened in 1999. 15 years old James Jonathan, imagine, 15 years old, called James Jonathan, alihack and shut down NASA computers for 21 days. And NASA computers ni zile ambazo zinatumika katika mambo ya kurusha mitandao kule juu na kuweza kwenda kule kwa mwezi na mambo kama hayo. Imagine 15 years old guy. There were around 1.7 million software downloads. 1.7 downloads zilianguka during the attack, na kukaa kuna hasara ya around around Kenya's money more than 10,000 that time. We go to the third one. That is the 2007 Estonia cyber attack, and this one was in April 2007. Estonia witnessed what is thought to be the first cyber attack on the entire country, and chiefly it is so around 58 Estonians websites go offline, including government, bank and media, zote pamoja. Then we go to number 4, is called the Adobe cyber attack. Adobe cyber attack was the first though to have breached the data for 2.9 million users. 2.9. Moreover, it compromised the personal data of up to 38 million, and it claims only the passwords ndio zilichukuliwa, credit card ikaingililiwa, na 2.9 million people waliweza kuadhirika. The remaining 35.1 million suffered the loss of their passwords and user IDs. Zote zilipotea. The fifth one is called the 2014 cyber attack on Yahoo. Yahoo ni ile ambayo tulikuwa tunatumia kwa email sana sana kabla watu wengi waanze kuchange. In 2014, Yahoo was subject to one of the biggest cyber attacks of the year when 500 million accounts were compromised. Can you imagine the whole world? During the attack, the basic information and passwords were stolen, whereas bank information was not. Kwa hivyo bank ilikuwa imesecure its account. Number 6 is called a cyber attack on Marriott hotels. Ilifanyika katika mahoteli kubwa kubwa. And here, a cyber attack on the Marriott hotels and Starwood hotels group went undetected. Kwa hivyo kulifanyika cyber attack hapa, na hakuna mtu alijua, which only came in light in 2018. Can you imagine? And then, thus, by the time they became aware of the attack, an estimated 339 million guests had their data compromised. Can you imagine, umeenda katika hoteli, alafu unapata data yako yote imeenda, majina yako, security yako, kila kitu. Consequently, the UK Data Privacy Watchdog fined the Marriott Hotel 18.4 million pounds. Kwa hivyo, serikali ya UK iliweza kutoa na kuweza kufine hiyo kampuni data hiyo ambayo ilipotea. That is the end of our cyber crimes, talking about the biggest cyber attack in history. Mangicho.
Wow. Thank you so much, Kagi. That's quite elaborate, and Wakili, as you've seen from our colleague there, Paul Kagi, with that kind of an explanation, it means when you talk about cybercrime, it can be very grave, even in terms of the effect. Can affect an entire system.
The people who commit that kind of crime are, first of all, first class in computer technology.
Yes.
They have studied the system. They are doing it deliberately. They are either trying to promote an antivirus that cures that. The people who make those attacks, again, from another angle, sell to the companies the solution to the attack. So if a cyber attack is launched on Kenya, especially in the payment system, it can bring down quite a number of things. Remember, we are now talking about Huduma services doing about 2 billion in various services
so now we are going to,
every day.
We are not going to e-citizen.
Yeah. Now we are going to e-citizen and that kind of a thing. A cyber attack on that system can be very, very, very grave, and it is a permanent thing. The suspects are always terrorists could want to do that. Criminals could want to do that. Criminals who want to sell cyber security systems to the government can do that. It's like destroying a road so that you are given the contract to rebuild it. But it happens.
Yeah, Mangicho, there is a course that is going on in our institutions called the hacking. You can be trained to become a hacker.
Yes.
I don't know whether it is illegal.
It's called ethical hacking.
Ethical hacking. We have an ethical hacking and hacking.
Yes.
And ethical hacking.
Now, the rationale of it is that we must know where these things are coming from. If you look at the history of these people who have committed these crimes against NASA, against Yahoo, these people are not anywhere in prison. They must have been asked to show the companies what really happened. How did you get here? How did you get into a computer program? So it is also, once you want to test a system, you bring a hacker, you tell him, this is Kenya Commercial Bank, we have 10 million accounts, I want you to try and go here and hack the system, get the identity of the customers, the balances and those kind of things. It is different from the simple crime of an insider deciding to deduct 1 shilling from all the accounts and going home with 10 million every month. That is that's simple fraud within that's insider crime. But big time hackers can cause a system failure.
And that, what do you think it also now calls maybe for extra effort maybe to be put in terms of ensuring that also maybe those who are technologically savvy in all our organizations, in our departments, to ensure that we have those who are more professional to safeguard
yes.
Operations. Training
in computer science, programming and all that is an ongoing process that is done, and we know institutions and government are investing in that. And they will invest in training, including hacking, so that they know how somebody can come in. If you don't do that, you'll get terrorists sitting with a laptop somewhere in a forest, hacking a system and bringing the country into a standstill. The investment is huge. Very, very huge. And all these companies you see around, banks, government, are investing heavily on training. And it is assisting, because you see the systems are working. You can look for your bank balance from your phone here and get it. Yes.
And it reminds me, Kagi, one of the aspects that we've also been witnessing in the country is the aspect of ghost workers, especially in the counties. Would this also be a scenario, luckily, of how maybe cyber crimes have actually been used to maybe facilitate the same?
Ghost workers and budding of student numbers. Like you see, the government is very poor at explaining itself. This idea of paying school fees to through eCitizen and Huduma is actually targeting something that the government does not want to discuss. Ghost workers are a situation where the department, the human resource department of a particular organization, parastatal, county government, decides to have a payroll that runs from 1 to 199 when they only have 119 workers reporting for work. This is a simple theft. It doesn't even require that person be savvy in computer programming. He has just increased the number of people being paid. Perhaps he produces the pay slips, he gathers them in a particular place, tells them to sign, and he rushes to the bank, picks their pay, and he gives them a percentage and goes away. Those are simple stealing. Yes, and when it has occurred, it is sometimes hard to prove because this person has control of the records.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Now, this juncture, we want to go to the profile.
Sure, of course. We have our legal profile segment for today, and today we are focusing and highlighting Justice George Odunga. Justice George Odunga, I know most of our viewers know this gentleman. Born in the late 1960s in Western Kenya, Justice George Odunga holds a bachelor's degree in law from the University of Nairobi. He was admitted to the bar as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, that is in the year 1992, and started career at Beham and Okero Advocates in 1993. Justice George Odunga worked at Milimani Courts before being moved to Machakos. That is still Justice George Odunga. Something else that we can actually learn from his profile is that he has handled high-profile cases like the suit challenging the constitutionality of a raft of security laws that Parliament passed in the chaotic session in that is supposed to be 2015 or 2025, following a wave of terrorist attacks in Nairobi. He also picked some segments and declared them unconstitutional, and therefore inviting the wrath of MPs from the then ruling party. That happened in the year 2015. That is one of the key highlights of Justice George Odunga. In 2017, he challenged the legality of the IBC county elections manager and determined they were illegally in office just one day to the August 8 polls. His decision was, however, overturned by the Court of Appeal. And of course, Justice George Odunga was also among the judges who declared the BBI process unconstitutional. He was among those judges that declared the BBI process unconstitutional. Those are some of the highlights of Justice George Odunga.
And he is one of the prominent judges in the country, regarding to his popular and unpopular rulings.
Yes. The only thing that is missing, and it's a big thing, is that Judge Odunga is a very prolific author. The book by my side in the office that I use in solving difficult questions in civil procedure and civil laws is the author. He has written quite a number of books in civil procedure.
Wow.
But as the system works, he now works for the judiciary. He has taken on the role of a judge, and so he can be posted anywhere. He's a judge who every lawyer could hope was operating within the sphere of civil cases, constitution, civil cases, banking, the law in solving these civil disputes, because those are restraints. Taking Jojo Dunga to listen to a murder trial is torture. But I'm sure he's up to the task, he can do it. But for us who are consumers of the services of the judiciary, we always hope that we can meet him in the space of civil law.
Yes, and Okili, what do you think when it comes maybe to some of these judges, justices, making some of these rulings that maybe to some people they think it is quite unexpected or maybe quite unusual? Maybe like, for example, the security in 2015, he made a ruling as far as the security laws were concerned, something that maybe the government had really banked on, only for him to come and challenge and to declare that particular law unconstitutional.
I see the most common mistake made in terms of the judiciary is how does a matter get to a judge? These matters are filed by citizens or companies or by organizations. Judges do not file cases before themselves. So once you get a ruling from a judge, an individual Kenyan, a company or somebody has filed a suit, a government department has responded, the judge has considered and balanced the two arguments, and they said, I'm temporarily stopping this, like it happened in Nakuru here, pending the hearing, or I am not going to do this. So judges really have no role in the filing on the files that come before them. Other than the matters that are in the court list that they handled last month, a judge comes to court as an empty page. He finds an application there. Mangijo is saying that this is unconstitutional. He says, well, why? Mangijo, as explained by affidavit, the AG comes there. The AG explains himself, no, I think this citizen is right. So we have to understand that, because the discussion in the public in Kenya most of the time is that the judges are doing this, judges are throwing out corruption cases, judges are getting compromised. It is extremely difficult for a judge for those kind of accusations, because one, they don't operate in the public space, they cannot respond. Two, they have no control of what comes before them. They deal with the suits that come before them, and they make decisions on the facts under the law. It is an interaction of facts under the law before them. Okay. Like in the prosecution area, like corruption cases, they have no control of a prosecutor who decides that he had 49 witnesses, he calls 8, he refuses to call 41, the case collapses. Everybody says the judiciary is not assisting in fighting corruption. Yes. But what would a judge do? You sit and wait for the evidence. Our system is that you sit and wait for the evidence. The prosecutor, who represents the government, has decided not to call the witnesses.
Yeah. So you work with what you have?
Yes. And then you say, well, Mr. K, you are free. I can't find any evidence of a crime that you committed. So if we focused on the sources of the problem, other than the exit of the problem, we would understand the judges more.
All right.
Yes.
We have 1 minute to wind up the program. Maybe in 1 minute, Wakili,
yes,
you can sum up your counsel to the public on the cyberspace and cybercrime.
Nafikiri wale watu nazungumzia hapa ni wananchi wa kawaida kwanza. Cybercrime is a big area. It affects people. Ensure you have control of what your children are exposed to in the cyberspace. Ensure what you disclose to strangers in terms of your bank, your phone is safe. Take seriously and try to learn how the space works, these cyber things. Like once you open an account in a bank, uliza maswali pale pale, hii itakuwaje? Hii kadi yangu ikipotea, nitafanya namna gani? Which number do I call? Don't walk out and say that if something happens, I will know what to do. All of us don't know. You have to ask the question and tell them to tell you, what do I do in case of this, that, and that.
All right.
But it's a very, very big area. We need to take it seriously. Yes.
Sawa sawa. I want to thank you, Wakili, for coming to us, talking about the cyber crime, cyber space, cyber law. Asante sana kwa sababu ya kuja katika studio zetu za MBCI TV. Pia tumekuwa naye katika masuala mbalimbali, tunakushukuru sana. Nikitumai pia mtazamaji umeweza kusaidika kupitia mambo ambayo tumezungumzia siku ya leo. Ujichunge sana na mambo ya uhalifu katika mitandao. Kwa niaba ya kitengo kizima cha The Legal Tuesday, mimi naitwa Paul Kagi. Kwa heri kwa sasa.
And I'm Angicho Mal, of course, will be here again tomorrow for Leadership Wednesday. Make sure you look forward for that. Until then, have a blessed afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day.